Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our session on the role of technology transfer offices in fostering sustainable innovation. Technology transfer offices, or TTOs, play a crucial role in bridging the gap between research academia and the industry. There are key players in transforming innovations, in protecting intellectual property rights, licensing technologies to established companies, and even also by creating a new spin-out ventures. However, the question remains, how can TTOs balance these profit-driven objectives with the pursuit of sustainability? So this is what we today will explore with our distinguished speaker. Will explore these critical issues, challenging common perceptions, and uncovering how TTOs can have an impact in driving sustainable technologies to fostering long-term societal benefit and environmental benefits as all. Let me introduce our distinguished expert panel. Starting off, it's my pleasure to introduce Prof. Megan Motor. Megan is the principal investigator of the water and energy efficiency of the Environment Lab at Stanford University and the research director of the National Alliance for Water Innovation, the U.S. Department of Energy 110 million water desalination hub. Her research advances the energy efficiency and cost effectiveness of securing water supplies through innovation in treatment technologies, coordinated cooperation of decarbonized water and energy systems, and design water energy policies. Welcome, Megan. Next, we have the honor of hearing from Mrs. Nisreen Laham. Nisreen is deeply engaged in advancing agri-food systems transformation with a focus on the water-energy-food nexus, circular economy, and carbon neutrality in the Arab Organization of Agricultural Development, the technical arm of the League of Arab States on food security and agriculture. In addition to her impactful work in sustainability, Nisreen is a pioneer in foresight studies, having founded the Future Studies Forum for Africa and the Middle East, which explores strategic pathways and innovations for the region's development and resilience. Joining us as our third panelist is Mr. Fernand Dimitstein. Fernand is the co-founder and CEO of BX Ventures, a startup studio dedicated to climate tech solutions. Fernand launched BX Ventures after a career of more than 30 years in strategy consulting and investment banking, with the objective to effectively contribute to a carbon-neutral net zero society. BX Ventures cooperates with many TTOs in Europe and North America with the ambition to make climate techs widely and readily available to support the need for industry decarbonization. Finally, we're delighted to welcome Dr. Christopher McLarnot. Chris is a board member and trustee of the Global Center for Risk and Innovation, an international organization aligned to the UN and dedicated to helping the world navigate through some of the largest risks it faces across environment, sustainability, health, geopolitics, global economics, technology, and AI, dis and misinformation. He also works with next-gen venture capital companies to incubate, scale, and commercialize new digital products across multiple industry sectors. Finally, Chris is an advisor to the UN Global Compact in Saudi Arabia, helping them to scale and directly contribute to the sustainability development goals of the companies delivering Vision 2030 here in Riyadh. Now, let's dive into the discussion. And to start, I'd like to turn to Fernand, a leader in the climate tech solutions. And my question is, what are the key challenges you see for the TTOs to support deep tech researchers in the university lab, and what does exactly BX Ventures bring to address these challenges?
So thank you for the introduction. So what we have seen after 3 years of activities of working with TTOs in really the climate tech, deep tech, is that there is a need, I would say, to change the software. In the sense that if you are a technology transfer office and you work with biotech researchers, and you interviewed these biotech researchers, they are quite happy of the relationship and the support they get, because within the universities, you have usually a central university-based hospital, which plays the role of industrial partners of these biotech researchers. However, when you talk to deep tech, meaning engineers, polytech, agrobiotech, there is a lack of natural contacts and relationship with TTOs, and because the TTOs, they have this challenge to understand the complexity of these technologies, and they have a real challenge to bring, I would say, industrial partners from the outside world and bring them and create this connection between the industrial world and the researchers. So that's really why we created BX Ventures, is we accelerate the spin-off of these deep tech by using our network of business that we took more than 30 years to build, and we bring to the table these big industrial players, like, I don't know, the Schneider, the Siemens, the ArcelorMittal, to quote just a few European players. And we create a continuum of contacts between researchers and these guys to accelerate the maturity of this technology.
Great, thank you so much. So it's really insightful how, through your company, you are trying to tackle these challenges by linking the academia with the right industry stakeholders and partners in order to really drive forward these innovative technologies. So thank you. Now I'd like to hear from Prof. Megan. How can TTOs at universities like Stanford play a pivotal role in advancing sustainable innovations and initiatives? And what strategies have you seen or implemented that effectively bridge the gap between academic innovation and sustainable impact?
Yes, well, thank you for the question. I'm going to answer this question from the perspective of Stanford, but also from my perspective as the research director for the National Alliance for Water Innovation, where we do work very hard to align some of the industry needs with academic and national lab researchers. So the main message I want to send today is that a university tech transfer office today needs to think very carefully about alignment. And it's alignment on 3 dimensions. The first is that these tech transfer offices need to manage up to the university to convey that their mission space is not in bringing revenue to the universities through sustainable innovation, but rather to see innovations effectively translate. When you have a tech transfer office whose mission is to translate technology, you're much more likely to be effective. The second challenge for tech transfer offices builds on the comments of our earlier speaker, which are aligning with this external set of stakeholders. We at Stanford have done a tremendous amount of work to gather those stakeholders and actually fund partnerships through something called the Sustainability Accelerator Program. And the National Alliance for Water Innovation, funded by the US Department of Energy, tries to do that on a national scale. Each and every project funded by the National Alliance for Water Innovation is required to have a combination of academic or earlier stage researchers with an industry partner already in hand. That helps us to ensure that when we're doing innovation, we're doing it with the end user's needs at the front and really driving why we're doing our research. The third and somewhat unique role, I think, of a university tech transfer office is educational. The next generation of innovators are coming from universities, and we need to train students on how to innovate in today's sustainability environment. That means understanding the world of capital building. That means understanding the world of navigating partnerships. That means being able to effectively communicate why you're doing the research that you're doing. And so the educational piece, I think, is increasingly under the domain and mission space of university tech transfer offices. And it's certainly a mission space that Stanford continues to take very, very seriously.
Great, thank you. Thank you for for highlighting these three criteria, and I would like just to focus on the last one that appeals a lot to me, coming from an educational background. I see that really everything starts with education, with awareness for every topic, to just share knowledge about the importance, in this case, of sustainability and of sustainable innovation, so that they know the why they should innovate in a sustainable manner. So this is a very, very important point. Thank you so much. And now to expand on this discussion, I'd like to turn to Dr. Chris. In your experience, what are the key risks TTOs face when transferring sustainability-focused innovation to industry, and how can these risks be mitigated in order to maximize impact?
Thank you. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here and with so many distinguished speakers. In relation to your question, I'm going to very briefly touch on 6 key areas and maybe pick up on what Ferdinand and Megan have already mentioned. So the first one would be key risk, market misalignment. There's some great ideas out there, but if you haven't got the product market fit correct, you're going to have a challenge from the outset. So make sure that in the market you're doing early testing and go and adopt and adapt as you go. Secondly, and Dina, I think this is one of your special areas to do with IP complexity. Typically where research contributes to an idea, that idea is innovative and that idea needs to go to market, you've got multi-party research, and that means you've got multi-partner ownership of whatever that IP is. So look at IP as though I would look at a capital table for a company. There can be shared IP, just make sure that it's very clearly defined and upfront before you get into commercial conversations. Afterwards, that's where it's always problematic. Secondly, regulatory uncertainty. So if you have a product which ideally from a sustainability perspective is applicable globally, you're going to find that different geographies have got different regulations. Design from the outset in relation to addressing those regulatory compliance pieces. Again, don't do it as an afterthought. Next one, funding and research. Funding for research and funding to go and take research into the market. Typically, the types of innovation that we're talking about needs a lot of upfront investment. Do not go alone. Find someone like Ferdinand to go and work with in relation to this. I know that Stanford has something that's called the HIT Fund in relation to investment in early stage. Find a consortia and go and leverage that. Don't go alone, go together in relation to that. Fifth one would be the perceived risk that the industry sees itself. So in relation to sustainability innovation, at the moment, it's seen as quite a high perceived risk, purely because it's not widespread, it's not well known. There aren't stories out there being amplified in relation to this. So there isn't a silver bullet to this, apart from demonstrate your feasibility very, very early in the cycle. And the last thing, and I think maybe with Stanford they do this very well. I know Heriot-Watt does it very well in Scotland, and I know Cowes University does it very well here. Academic alignment. Academia is not set up to work like the rest of the world, but as Megan was picking up, they've got something that helps the thinkers and the researchers understand what the market looks like and how the market thinks and works and acts and operates. So again, team up and do that.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights. And regarding the IP element, I can't agree more because from my experience, I can see that a lot of startups and entrepreneurs miss this element and they don't give it the value that it has. So IP is a very important element that should be taken into consideration at the very early stage, to be integrated since the beginning in the business strategy, and when they want to share their IP assets with other partners or investors, it's very important to sign NDAs in order to protect their rights, and also with the TTOs and with universities, they have to agree on who own what to so they do not go into later on into legal conflicts between them. So it's very important to highlight this very important aspect of intellectual property protection and taking care and keeping the information secret until not disclose it until the legal protection. Now, as the final speaker in this panel and coming from the Arab region, I would like to ask Nisreen, how can the Arab region effectively mainstream innovation through TTOs, and what key actions or frameworks are needed to fully leveraging the outcome of these offices for regional development, reflecting on what our speakers have already mentioned.
Thank you, Dina. First, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Research, Development and Innovation Authority for organizing this forum and convening such a diverse panel of experts. The insights shared by Professor Megan, Dr. Christopher, and Mr. Fernand offer rich perspectives from the global north, underscoring the importance of the North-South collaboration in advancing technologies and innovations. However, to effectively mainstream innovation through technology transfer offices in the Arab region, we must prioritize the localization of these innovations and technologies. Professor Megan highlighted in her discussion how to bridge the gaps between innovation in academia and sustainable impact. We may learn from this and adapt this to our region, but the most important thing is to align it with our environmental and cultural realities. This requires not only technical expertise, but also active communication with end users to make sure that these solutions address the real market needs and development challenges. By adopting a demand-driven approach, technology transfer offices may identify critical challenges and innovation gaps and position themselves as key solution providers and pivotal players in sustainable development as well. Dr. Chris' insights emphasize the importance of risk mitigation in fostering resilience. Technology transfer offices in the Arab region may also use similar foresight methodologies to anticipate future trends, uncertainties, and opportunities. This approach allows that these initiatives are resilient and remain relevant in the conditions that are accelerating in changing on the environmental, economic, and social levels. For example, TTOs working on water scarcity, a pressing issue in our region, may use future trend to tackle the newest technologies like desalination and deploy Delphi technique to prioritize the options according to the diverse experts' point of view, and also employ the scenario planning to test the viability of solutions under various policy and environmental conditions. Mr. Fernand's work provides inspiration for fostering entrepreneurship. To replicate this success, we need robust infrastructures. We need innovation hubs and incubators that could be linked closely to technology transfer offices. This infrastructure could be utilized to build the capacities of youth entrepreneurs and empower the next generation to champion transformative change. And here I may mention a very successful example from the region, which I personally witnessed their impactful work, the MENA Regional Innovation Hub. It fosters startups and empower innovators to have innovations from a water, energy, food nexus approach to provide more food with less water and less energy, and with a gender perspective as well, along with the business perspective and attracting investors. Finally, as I stand here at COP16, surrounded with this vibrant discourse and motivating environment, I feel the future and tomorrow is being shaped now. This will not only drive Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, but also will inspire other countries in the region to drive innovation and progress. Thank you, Dina.
Thank you, Nisreen, for all this information. I hope that all these initiatives and propositions could be applied in a very sustainable way in the Arab region. Now I have a final question to all of you. As we look to the future, could each one of you please share one critical step that TTOs should take to ensure that the innovation they foster not only thrive commercially, but also will have an impact on society and on the environment? I'd appreciate if each one of you, if could you respond in about 2 minutes, please. So let's start with Dr. Megan.
Sure. I think TTOs have historically sat there waiting for innovations to come to them. We need to radically rethink our TTOs and have them be real leaders in alignment that enables sustainable innovation proactively rather than reactively.
Yeah, maybe if I can just build on that. So breaking this wall down between TTO, the venture capital space, the investment space, and actually the market would be incredible. I think to do that, you need to find a balance between, the just economics of doing things, social impact and sustainability. And then I think they should focus on technology that can be globally adopted, but can actually be highly accessible to underserved communities and disadvantaged communities as well. And then just purely from a commercial perspective, do clever things like structure your licensing agreements aligned to the incentives for the achievement. So if you go and reduce the amount of water consumption, you actually get cheaper licensing deals. Do clever things. It's actually quite simple to go and put some of these things in place. It's just the fact that no one's connecting the dots. I think that's the magic.
Thank you so much.
So I would say 2 things. First, understand that we have some kind of emergency. The planet is burning, we have this transition, so we don't have the time to wait 10 to 15 years before you found a researcher who was at the same time a good businessman, and then you have a fantastic spin-off. So change this. And 2 is, Megan was talking about a business ecosystem. I think business ecosystem, we are here to help. We are not here to steal IP and then go away with the money. We are really here to help and to transform this tech into viable business model.
Thank you. Ms. Lien?
From my point of view, a critical step for TTOs in the Arab region is to create collaborative innovation ecosystems. That means connecting all stakeholders, connecting researchers, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and community representatives. Through this collaborative initiation of the outset of the technology development process, we may ensure that all these technologies and all these innovations target the market needs and have this sustainability component. And here I also refer to the water, energy, food nexus and what Berytech is doing through connecting all stakeholders and maintaining this ongoing process of communication and inclusive planning. And also on this point, we need to have a robust monitoring and evaluation system to assess the progress of these offices, but to include a sustainability criteria, not just to assess the progress of these TTOs on their commercial viability, but also on their environmental and social impacts as well.
Thank you. Thank you to all the speakers for your insightful contributions and valuable contributions. As we conclude, we can notice and know that technology transfer offices are essential catalysts for innovation, but their success lies in creating a lasting impact, not only by moving ideas from labs to market and to industry, but by solving critical issues, especially issues relating to sustainability. So let's carry these lessons and these contributions shared today to empower TTOs to lead meaningful progress for people, for the planet, and for prosperity of all. Thank you so much.